Hello everyone. In today's session, we will study about the beta decay and the neutrino hypothesis. Here, what is beta decay process and what are the difficulties faced by the scientists to explain the beta decay, and what is neutrino hypothesis, and how this neutrino properties can be explained. All these details we would study in this session. So first we have to know what are the beta particles. Here in the radioactivity process, we know that the alpha rays, beta rays and gamma rays are emitted from the nucleus. The beta particles are negatively charged particles, alpha particles are positively charged particles, and gamma rays are the neutral particles. Here the beta particles are emitted by the radioactive substances of a very high energy electrons. Here it is nothing but a fast moving electrons are called the beta particles. The beta particles are not the electrons from the electron shell which is revolving around the nucleus, but it is generated at the time of the disintegration. So in that case, the neutron gets converted into proton or the proton gets converted into neutron. So during this process, the beta particles are emitted. Here we have to study the properties of the beta particles. The beta particles are the negatively charged particles, and here the mass of that beta particle is nearly equivalent to the electron. Here all the beta particles emitted from the nucleus, it do not have the same kinetic energy. So this is a very important property of the beta particles. Here the beta particles are emitted from the nucleus itself, but it does not pre-exist inside it. It is generated at the time of disintegration. Here all the beta particles will not have the same kinetic energy. The ionizing power is low and range is large. Here the beta particle which can ionize the gas and it can produce the positive and negative ions. So this ionization power is low compared to the alpha particles. The ionization power is low and the range is large, so it can travel more distance compared to the alpha particles. The beta particles can travel more distance, so after the emission. Next property is they can affect the photographic plate. They can affect the photographic plate. They are deflected by the electric and magnetic field because they are charged particles. They can penetrate through the thin metal foil and their penetration power is greater than the alpha rays. Here, so it can be stopped by the metal foil of thickness. The charge of the beta particle is same as the charge of the electron. So these are the properties of the beta particles. Now we have to study about the beta decay. Here the spontaneous beta decay process occurs in which the mass number of the nucleus remains unchanged, but the atomic number changes. It may be increased by 1 or it may be decreased by 1. So that's why, so this process is called the beta decay process. Here the change in the atomic number, it is due to or accomplished by the emission of electron or the emission of a positron or the capture of orbital electron by the nucleus. There are three types of a beta decay: negative beta decay, positive beta decay, and the electron capture. Here, what is negative beta decay? So we can see from the figure, carbon gets converted into nitrogen. Both are having the same mass number, but the atomic number of the nitrogen is increased by the 1, and the emitted beta particles, that is nothing but an electron. So we can represent this as E or beta. That is for our convenience, we can take any one. Here the negative beta decay is nothing but the process in which the nucleus of an atom emits an electron. So during disintegration process is called the negative beta decay. During this process, the mass number of the daughter nucleus, that is nitrogen, remains the same. In general, during the negative beta decay, the mass number of the daughter nucleus remains the same, while the atomic number is increased by the 1 unit than the parent nucleus. So this is about the negative beta decay. And the positive beta decay, here we can see from the figure, the oxygen converted into nitrogen. The oxygen mass number is 15, nitrogen mass number is also 15, there is no any change in that, but atomic number is decreased by the 1 unit. 8 becomes 7. Here the process in which the nucleus of an atom it is a process in which the nucleus of an atom emits a positron is known as the positive beta decay. Here during this process, the daughter nucleus, that is nitrogen, in this example we have taken this as a nitrogen. In general thing, if it say the daughter nucleus is having the same mass number, but the atomic number is decreased by the 1 unit, and the positron are emitted. The positron is emitted which has the positive charge. Here the positron is nothing but its charge is different than the electron. The electron is negatively charged, but positron is positively charged, but mass of these two are same. Here we can represent this as E plus or beta plus, that is the positive beta decay. Next is the electron capture. In the figure, so we can see that the potassium is having the mass number 40, gets converted into argon, so whose mass number is 40 only, but the atomic number is 19 for the potassium, so it captures an electron of negative charge. Then the argon atomic number becomes 18, that is 19 minus 1 becomes 18. So what does electron capture means? Here the unstable nucleus gets transformed to stable nucleus by capturing an orbital electron by the nucleus. So this process is called the electron capture. Here the electron gets captured by the nucleus of the potassium and gets converted into argon. This process is common. Here the beta particles we can apply it for the lighter nuclei or for heavy nuclei. Here there are the number of subshells, we know that K, L, M, N subshells. the K shell which is nearer to the nucleus, which lies very close to the nucleus, and these electrons are gets captured by the nucleus. So which is more probable than L and M shells. So this type of electron capture is called K capture. The electron capture is possible if the mass of the parent atom is greater than the mass of the daughter atom. So it is the distribution energy of the beta particles. So we have plotted the graph of the kinetic energy of the beta particle is along x-axis and the number of beta particles emitted is along y-axis. It may be positive or negative beta particles. It may be in terms of electrons or in terms of positron. So we have taken it along y-axis. The curve comes like this. So why it is happening like this? Unlike the alpha decay, which takes place only in the heavier nuclei, the beta decay can occur in wide range of nuclei. So it may start from the lighter nuclei to some heavier nuclei also. Here the kinetic energy of that beta particle is also not a constant. It varies from 0.2 to 3.2 mega electron volt. So it has a variety of a range. Here the intensity of that beta particle is different for different velocities. Here the beta particles are emitted from the radioactive source, so which have the continuous distributions of energy, so which can shown by the graph. In other words, we can say the alpha rays or X-rays, gamma rays gives the line spectrum or discrete energy spectrum. But this beta spectrum is a continuous spectrum, so this creates some problem to explain this beta particles. So we can say the beta particles are emitted with a maximum kinetic energy, but so it is not emitting all the beta particles with the same kinetic energy, it is of lower energies. Why is it happening like this? Here only few particles are found to be emitted with this maximum kinetic energy, whereas the majority of the particles have the lesser energy. So this violates the law of conservation of energy. Here, in case of a beta spectrum, the law of conservation of energy is violated. The law of conservation of a linear momentum is also violated in case of a beta particles or beta decay. The emitting nucleus must get some linear momentum which is in opposite direction to that of beta particles. Suppose the beta particle is emitting, so which should be opposite to the parent nuclei. We know that the emitting nucleus must get some linear momentum in the opposite direction to that of the beta particle or any emitting particle, but the nucleus is not found to recoil in the same opposite direction to that of the emitted particle. So it is moving in different directions. So that's why the law of conservation of a linear momentum is also violated. Next is the law of conservation of angular momentum. Here all the particles is having this spin angular momentum is of h cross, but the initial angular momentum is of h cross. In the final angular momentum, that was due to the sum of the orbital and the spin motion of the electrons and the protons. Here the final angular momentum gives the integral multiple of h cross. So it means that it gives a number, it is not of h cross. It is not equal to the initial angular momentum. Here the law of conservation of angular momentum is also violated. But only The law of conservation of a charge is obeyed in case of beta particles. The law of conservation of linear momentum, law of conservation of angular momentum, and law of conservation of energy all are violated in case of a beta spectrum. But only thing is, the conservation of charge is obeyed. So why it is happening? To explain this, the Pauli suggested that there should be another particle which is emitting along with the beta particles and the daughter nucleus, so that should have some of the properties. And he proposed the neutrino hypothesis. He proposed that at the time of the beta decay of a nucleus, a new particle is also formed and emitted along with the emission of the beta particles. That particle is named as the neutrino. The Pauli assumed the properties of the neutrino, and this neutrino was proved after 25 years of this neutrino hypothesis. First one is, the neutrino must be electrically neutral because the law of conservation of a charge is obeyed. Therefore, the neutrino must be neutral. It should not have any positive charge or it should not have any negative charge. So that's why the neutrino must be electrically neutral, and the mass of the neutrino should be zero. Mass of the neutrino should be zero. Intrinsic spin of the neutrino should be of H cross. Here the neutrino must obey the Fermi-Dirac statistics because it has the spin of H cross. So that's why it must obey the Fermi-Dirac statistics. The neutrino must be high energy particle. So these are the properties of the neutrino. By using these properties, the Pauli explained the negative beta decay, positive beta decay, and the electron capture processes. How it is? So from this diagram, so we can see, so in general, so we know that what is the negative beta decay. Here in negative beta decay process, the neutron gets converted into proton with emission of electron. Along with that, another particle is also emitted. That particle is called the antineutrino, which is the antiparticle of the neutrino. It is emitted in the process of negative beta decay. The positive beta decay, here the proton gets converted into neutron with emission of a positron and neutrino. So it is a mu can be represented as electron, that neutrino. The neutrino can be represented by that symbol mu. This is positive beta decay, and in the electron capture, here also the proton gets converted into neutron only, but it captures the electron. The proton captures the electrons and converted into neutron with emission of a neutrino. These are the three types of the beta decay processes explained by the Pauli. Here the antineutrino. What is antineutrino? So which is emitted during the negative beta decay. The antiparticle of the neutrino is antineutrino. Here the properties of neutrino and antineutrino are same. Only thing is their angular momentum vector is oppositely directed, or in other words we can say the spin vector of the neutrino is opposite to each other. Here the spin vector of the neutrino is antiparallel to the linear momentum, while the antineutrino is parallel to its linear momentum. So only this much of a difference we can find in the case of antineutrino. Here the neutrino discovery is very difficult because mass is 0, it is a massless particle, it is a chargeless, and it is having the spin off. So that's why it is very difficult to detect. After 25 years of the proposals of the Pauli neutrino hypothesis, this neutrino and antineutrino were discovered. This is about the beta decay and the neutrino hypothesis. Thank you all.